Bianca Belair just returned to WWE and completely shattered the illusion that she and Jade Cargill were ever friends, delivering the most savage, calculated takedown of another woman's credibility that we've seen in years. And what's making people absolutely furious is that Bianca didn't just challenge Jade to a match. She systematically dismantled every single accomplishment Jade's had in WWE by exposing the one truth nobody wanted to say out loud. Jade Cargill's entire undefeated streak has been smoke and mirrors built on facing inferior competition while Bianca was gone. I'm about to show you exactly why this return promo is the most disrespectful thing the EST has ever done, why Jade Cargill's response will determine if she's actually ready for this level or about to get exposed as all look and no substance, and why this rivalry just became personal in ways that make their tag team partnership look like the biggest lie WWE's told us this year. Picture this. SmackDown opens, Jade Cargill is in the ring cutting her usual promo about being undefeated, unstoppable, the most dominant woman in WWE history. She's flexing, she's confident, she's that bitch, and the crowd's eating it up because Jade has that rare combination of presence, athleticism, and aura that makes you believe every word. She's talking about how nobody on the SmackDown roster can touch her, how she's beaten everyone put in front of her, how her reign of dominance is just beginning. Then Bianca Belair's music hits. The arena absolutely loses their minds because the EST has been gone for weeks. People were speculating about when she'd return, and her coming back during Jade's moment is already a statement. But the look on Bianca's face as she walks to that ring isn't the friendly smile of a returning tag team partner. It's pure predatory focus. She's not here to celebrate with Jade. She's here to destroy her. Bianca gets in the ring, grabs a microphone before Jade can even welcome her back, and says the words that changed everything. Jade, while I was gone healing and getting ready to come back at 100%, I had a lot of time to watch SmackDown. And you know what I noticed? You've been standing in MY Spotlight, taking credit for work I did, playing the role of dominant woman that I created, all while beating nobody who actually matters. The disrespect, the audacity, the absolute nuclear heat of that opening. Bianca didn't ease into this. She went straight for Jade's throat by questioning not just her abilities but her entire WWE run. And the crowd didn't know whether to cheer or boo because they're watching two women they love about to destroy each other. Drop your immediate reaction in the comments. Was Bianca Belair justified in calling out Jade Cargill's competition level? Or is she being bitter and jealous about Jade's success? This is already dividing the fanbase, so I need to know where you stand. Jade's face during Bianca's opening was perfect. A mixture of shock, confusion, and rising anger. This clearly wasn't the return she expected. She probably thought Bianca would come back and they'd continue their partnership, maybe have a friendly rivalry eventually. But Bianca just declared war without warning, without building to it, without giving Jade any preparation. Bianca continued, and this is where it got truly brutal. Let's talk about this undefeated streak you're so proud of. Jade. Who have you actually beaten that matters? Chelsea Green? She's a comedy act. Myken? She's been on Main Event more than SmackDown. BFAB? I didn't even know she was still employed. You've been beating up enhancement talent and pretending it makes you a monster. But you want to know what facing real competition looks like. Bianca then got right in Jade's face and delivered the kill shot. You're looking at her, and every single person in that locker room knows that your undefeated streak is only undefeated because you haven't faced anyone who's actually at your level. You've been protected, packaged, and presented as something special. But the moment you step in the ring with me, that perfect record ends, and everyone sees what I already know. You're all look, no substance. That's not a challenge, that's character assassination. Bianca didn't just say, I can beat you. She said, you're a fraud who's been exposed by facing me, and everyone's going to know it. That's the kind of disrespect that can't be walked back or laughed off. Jade has to respond with equal intensity or she looks weak. Jade's response was measured, but you could see the fury building underneath. Bianca, I don't know what happened to you while you were gone, but you came back bitter. You came back scared. Because you know that when you left, I didn't just take your spot, I elevated it. I did everything you did but better, faster, more impressive. You're not mad that I'm undefeated. You're terrified that everyone realizes you were never as special as you thought you were. Oh, that's vicious. Jade went straight for Bianca's ego by suggesting the EST was always overrated, and Jade's success proves it. That's the kind of comeback that makes this personal, because now both women aren't just fighting over who's better. They're fighting over who deserves the recognition they've received. Question for the comments. Objectively speaking, who do you think is the better all-around performer right now, Bianca Belair or Jade Cargill? Consider everything. Wrestling ability, promo skills, presence, athleticism, and connection with the crowd. Let me break down why Bianca's attack on Jade is so effective and so controversial. First, she's identifying something that's technically true. Jade hasn't faced top-tier competition consistently in her WWE run. WWE's been protective of Jade, giving her an undefeated streak by care. Third, Bianca's positioning herself as the measuring stick, the one opponent who will reveal Jade's true level. By making herself the ultimate test, Bianca ensures that when they finally face each other, it's not just another match but the match that defines Jade's entire WWE career. That's brilliant psychology because it raises the stakes beyond just winning or losing. The crowd during this exchange was electric because everyone could feel the real tension underneath the worked promo. These two women genuinely want to be seen as the top woman on SmackDown, and there's only room for one person in that spot. Their tag team partnership was always temporary, always destined to implode once both were healthy and available. We're just seeing it happen more explosively than anyone expected. Here's where the controversy really ignites. Bianca's criticisms of Jade's opponents aren't wrong, but they're also applicable to Bianca herself at various points in her career. Bianca's had her share of matches against lower-level competition, had her share of protected booking, had her share of wins that look impressive but weren't against the absolute best. So for her to throw those accusations at Jade while ignoring her own similar history feels hypocritical to some fans. But from a character perspective, it's perfect. Heels and tweeners often accuse others of things they're guilty of themselves. It makes them more complex and interesting than if they were purely righteous in their criticisms. Bianca's not claiming to be perfect. She's claiming to be better than Jade, and she's using Jade's protected booking as evidence. Drop a comment. Is there such a thing as good protection versus bad protection when WWE is building a star's winning streak? What's the difference if both result in undefeated records against carefully selected opponents? Jade's counter that Bianca came back scared is equally brilliant psychological warfare. Fear is the ultimate motivator and the ultimate weapon. By suggesting Bianca's intensity comes from insecurity rather than confidence, Jade's trying to flip the power dynamic. She's saying Bianca wouldn't be this aggressive if she actually believed she was still the top woman. Aggressive behavior becomes reframed as defensive behavior, which undermines Bianca's whole attack. The physicality came next, and it was necessary to cement that this isn't just a verbal disagreement. Bianca shoved Jade first, establishing that she's willing to initiate violence. Jade shoved back harder, establishing that she won't be intimidated or back down. They had to be separated by multiple referees and officials, both women screaming at each other, both trying to get free to continue the fight. Perfect setup for their eventual match because you believe neither woman can wait to legally hurt the other. WWE's booking of this segment was smart because they didn't have either woman back down or look weak. Both got shots in verbally and physically, both made their cases for being superior, both looked ready for war. That balance is crucial for making both women look like credible threats to each other rather than clearly telegraphing who's winning their eventual match. Let's talk about what this means for the women's division on SmackDown because Bianca versus Jade instantly becomes the most important storyline. Every other woman on the roster is now secondary to this rivalry. Bayley, Charlotte if she's around, Naomi. Everyone else is positioning for scraps while these two fight over the throne. That's good for creating one marquee feud, but potentially bad for everyone else's development and screen time. The question WWE faces is how to build this without neglecting the rest of the division. Ideally, other women get involved by choosing sides, creating factions, or taking advantage of Bianca and Jade being focused on each other. But WWE's historically struggled with booking robust women's divisions where multiple storylines feel equally important, so we'll see if they've learned. Here's my prediction for how this plays out, and tell me if you think I'm right or completely wrong. Bianca and Jade don't face each other immediately. WWE builds this over weeks, maybe months, with increasingly intense confrontations. They might have tag matches where they're forced to be partners but barely cooperate. They might cost each other matches against other opponents. They might cut promos that get more and more personal as they reveal real insecurities and resentments. Then, at a premium live event, possibly even WrestleMania depending on timing, they have their first one-on-one match. And it needs to be spectacular, a showcase of power and athleticism that proves both women belong at the top. I think Jade should win that first match, barely, keeping her undefeated streak alive but establishing that Bianca pushed her further than anyone else has. That sets up a rematch where Bianca can finally end the streak and prove her point. Question for you. Should Jade Cargill's undefeated streak end against Bianca Belair? Or should it be saved for an even bigger moment against someone else? The streak has value, so who ends it matters enormously. Let me address something controversial. Some people will say women's wrestlers shouldn't be cutting promos this aggressive and personal on each other, that it perpetuates stereotypes about women being catty or unable to work together. That's a valid concern about representation, but it's also important that women's wrestlers are allowed the same range of emotions and storylines as men. Male wrestlers cut promos like this on each other constantly and nobody questions whether it's appropriate. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes have said incredibly personal things to each other. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's feud is built on genuine animosity. If we say women can't have those same intense, personal rivalries, we're limiting their storytelling potential and implying they need to be more polite or restrained than men. That's not equality, that's restrictive stereotyping with good intentions. Bianca and Jade being willing to verbally destroy each other makes them more interesting, more complex, and more compelling as characters. It treats them as fully realized individuals with egos, ambitions, and the willingness to do whatever it takes to succeed. That's what we should want from all wrestlers regardless of gender. Drop your final take. When this rivalry eventually ends, should Bianca and Jade go back to being friends/partners, or is this bridge permanently burned and they should remain rivals for the foreseeable future? Both options have storytelling merit. Here's what needs to happen for this rivalry to live up to its potential. First, WWE needs to give them time. Not just one match and move on, but a proper program that unfolds over months with multiple chapters. These are two of the most talented women in the company. They deserve the kind of build usually reserved for men's main event feuds. Second, the matches need to be given time and promotion. Not 10-minute SmackDown matches with commercial breaks, but 20-plus minute showcases. Keep it intense premium live athletic, personal but professional. Fourth, whoever wins needs to win definitively enough that it feels conclusive, but not so decisively that it buries the loser. Bianca and Jade are both too valuable to have one completely dominate the other. Close, competitive matches where the better wrestler on that particular night wins are what this needs. The broader implications of this rivalry extend beyond just these two women. How WWE handles Bianca versus Jade will signal how seriously they take their women's division, whether they see women's storylines as equal to men's storylines, and whether they're willing to invest real time and resources into building women's stars. If this gets the treatment it deserves, it could elevate the entire division. If it gets rushed or marginalized, it's a missed opportunity. I genuinely believe Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill can have a rivalry that people talk about for years, the kind that defines both their careers and sets a new standard for women's wrestling in WWE. They have the talent, the charisma, the athleticism, and the genuine competitive fire to create something special. The question is whether WWE will give them the platform and patience to do it. Share this video if you think Bianca's criticisms of Jade were valid. Hit that like button if you believe Jade's about to prove she belongs at the top, and drop your complete predictions about this rivalry in the comments. Because one thing's absolutely certain. The EST and that bitch are on a collision course, and when they finally collide at full speed, the impact is going to reshape the entire women's division. This isn't just about who's better between two great wrestlers. It's about